Welcome to another Minute with Myers. Do you work from a place of rest or do you simply rest from your work? This is a concept that a pastor friend of mine introduced to me a few years back, and it's always been a challenge for me. I was thinking again about 1 Kings 19. That's what we were studying yesterday and talking about. Elijah has run for his life, but he has found sustenance. God has fed him. He has found a place of rest in the cave, and God speaks to him and says, "Why are you here?" And then sends him back to work. So he's had a chance to rest. Think about even the Jewish part of our roots and the Judeo Christian roots is that the day starts at sundown. The day starts with rest, and then you work. And even then, the Ten Commandments, Sabbath, is one of those big 10, right? That we are commanded to rest, not just to recuperate, but that so our work, our God given vocation and calling and to do list that we put together there comes from a place of rest. How does that sound to you? I mean, we live in a culture, and it's just countercultural for me as an American, how I was raised, is that we work, 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 work until you can't work anymore, and then you can rest. That's how our culture tells us to live, right? But think of all of the stress that we have built up until your body finally shuts down or your brain finally shuts off and says, you have to rest so that you can work again. Think about how it would be different for you. And this is my challenge to you and a challenge to myself. Again, I always need to hear this again and again and again because it's not in my culture, it's not how I was raised, but to work from rest instead of simply resting from work. What would that look like for you? See, Jesus in the Gospel of Luke, it happens over and over, but in what I was reading today, that when daybreak arrived, so that's after a good night's sleep, Jesus went to a deserted place. So he even continues the rest before the work. That's the model and the example for us, right? Think about the stress of work, even if it's what God's called you to do. It can have stress in your vocation in your life, whatever that is. But what would it look like if you worked from a place of rest? That's our challenge. Amen.